Manipulation expert. You're being manipulated. Use jealousy to manipulate people. Stoicism. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. These profound words from Marcus Aurelius serve as a reminder that the key to true freedom lies within us. Have you ever felt like someone was controlling your emotions, making you feel envious, insecure, or even inadequate? What if you could recognize and neutralize those manipulative tactics, turning the tables to reclaim your peace and power? In today's video on Stoic in Your Life, we'll explore how jealousy is often used as a tool for manipulation, and more importantly, how Stoic principles can help you rise above it. By understanding and mastering your emotions, you can take control of your reactions and live with greater clarity and confidence. As we uncover the subtle ways manipulation operates, we'll also share actionable insights inspired by the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and other Stoic thinkers, to help you strengthen your mind and break free from external influences. Have you ever faced a situation where jealousy clouded your judgment or felt like a tool someone used against you? Share your story in the comments. We'd love to hear your perspective. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to join our growing community of thinkers, striving for personal growth and resilience. Together, we'll not only identify manipulation but also transform these challenges into opportunities for strength and happiness. Let's dive in and uncover the path to becoming unshakable. Number 1. The nature of manipulation and its Stoic antidote. Manipulation is one of the oldest tricks in the human playbook, often disguised as innocent persuasion or well-intentioned advice. Its true power, however, lies in its ability to exploit our most vulnerable emotions, and jealousy is among the sharpest arrows in a manipulator's quiver. Manipulators understand that jealousy can cloud judgment, disrupt inner peace, and lead people to act irrationally, all to their advantage. They might flaunt their possessions, achievements, or connections to make you feel inferior, or they might highlight the successes of others to stir feelings of inadequacy within you. This calculated stirring of envy can steer your behavior in ways that serve their agenda, while leaving you feeling unbalanced and powerless. The Stoics, however, provide a powerful antidote to such manipulation: the mastery of one's own mind. Marcus Aurelius in Meditation then reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In other words, the external triggers that manipulators use to provoke jealousy only have power if we allow them to take root in our minds. The Stoic approach begins with recognizing the emotion of jealousy as a signal, rather than a weakness. It's a sign that you may be placing too much value on external things outside your control, like another person's success, wealth, or appearance. By shifting your focus inward and reassessing your values, you can dismantle the manipulator's influence over you. Consider this. When someone tries to make you jealous, what are they really doing? They're holding up a mirror to your insecurities, hoping you'll see their reflection and feel less than enough. But the Stoics teach us to confront that reflection with reason. Ask yourself, why do I feel envious? Is the thing I desire truly essential to my happiness? Or have I allowed myself to be distracted by the shiny, fleeting distractions of life? Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." This highlights that envy stems not from lack but from misplaced priorities. By focusing on what truly matters, your character, your virtues, and your inner peace, you can neutralize the manipulator's attempts to control you. In modern life, manipulation through jealousy is rampant, especially in the age of social media. Every swipe through your feed can feel like a deliberate attempt to provoke envy, as people showcase carefully curated versions of their lives. Manipulators capitalize on this, using comparisons to make you question your worth or distract you from your own goals. But the Stoic response to this is timeless. Detach yourself from the illusion. Epictetus wisely said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." The less you desire what others have, the less power they have over you. Instead of chasing what others flaunt, practice gratitude for what you already possess and find contentment in living according to your principles. The lesson from Stoicism is both empowering and practical. Jealousy is only as powerful as you allow it to be. By cultivating emotional resilience and focusing on your inner virtues, you can rise above manipulation and live a life of true freedom. So, the next time you sense someone trying to manipulate you through envy, pause and reflect. Shift your perspective, realign your values, and remind yourself that the only person who controls your happiness is you. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, "If you are pained by an external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it, and it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now." Let this wisdom guide you to a life where your peace is unshaken, your mind is your own, and manipulation has no hold on you. Number 2, how jealousy drives manipulation. Jealousy is one of the most potent emotions capable of driving manipulation in ways that are subtle yet deeply effective. It often starts with something small, a comparison, a moment of envy, or a lingering feeling of inadequacy, and before you know it, those emotions take root. Manipulators are experts at spotting these cracks in your confidence. They use jealousy as a tool to cloud your judgment, steering you toward actions and decisions that serve their agenda rather than your own well-being. Consider a common workplace scenario. A colleague might subtly flaunt their accomplishments, or bring up someone else's success in a way that makes you feel left behind. They might say, "Oh, did you hear that Jim got promoted? I wonder why they didn't consider you." A simple statement like this can plant a seed of doubt and jealousy, making you question your value and feel the need to compete. What manipulators understand is that jealousy often blinds us, pulling us into a reactive state where we act impulsively instead of logically. But here's the good news. Once you understand how jealousy operates and how it's used against you, you can take back control of your emotions. The wisdom of Stoicism offers profound insights into this dynamic. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." This quote encapsulates the core Stoic principle that external events or even manipulative tactics only affect us if we allow them to. The manipulator may try to stir jealousy in you by showcasing something they have that you don't, whether it's material wealth, social status, or perceived happiness. But the Stoics teach us that the real source of our envy lies not in what the other person possesses, but in the value we mistakenly assign to it. For example, in today's social media-driven world, scrolling through Instagram or Facebook can feel like an endless highlight reel of other people's achievements, vacations, or relationships. It's easy to compare your life to theirs and feel lacking. Yet have you ever paused to ask yourself, are those curated moments really as meaningful as they appear? Or am I simply projecting my own desires onto someone else's life? By questioning the value we place on external things, we can free ourselves from the grip of jealousy and the manipulations it enables. Let me share a story that highlights this concept. A friend of mine, Mike, used to feel envious of his brother-in-law, who seemed to have everything: a high-paying job, a luxury car, and a big house. Every family gathering was a reminder of what Mike thought he lacked. Over time, this jealousy started affecting his decisions. He began taking unnecessary risks in his career, spending beyond his means to appear more successful, and ultimately burning himself out. It wasn't until Mike discovered Stoicism that he realized his envy wasn't about his brother-in-law at all. It was about the false belief that material success defined his worth. By shifting his focus to his own values and what truly mattered, his family, health, and personal growth, Mike not only overcame his jealousy but also became immune to the subtle manipulations that had driven his behavior for years. This transformation didn't happen overnight, but it began with a simple question. Why am I letting someone else's life dictate my happiness? Now let's bring it back to you. Have you ever found yourself feeling jealous, acting out of envy, or even making decisions you later regretted because you were trying to measure up to someone else? If so, you're not alone. But it's important to recognize that this is where manipulators thrive. They want you to feel unsettled, to question yourself, and to believe that you're incomplete without what they have or what they want you to chase. But here's the empowering truth. You are in control of how you respond. Epictetus wisely said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is the key to disarming manipulation. When you feel jealousy creeping in, pause and ask yourself, is this feeling based on something real? Or is it a story I'm telling myself? Does the thing I'm envious of truly matter in the grand scheme of my life? These moments of reflection can break the cycle of manipulation and help you refocus on your own goals and values. The lesson here is straightforward yet life-changing. Jealousy is a tool only if you allow it to be wielded against you. By practicing self-awareness, questioning the value of external things, and focusing on what truly matters to you, you can neutralize the power of manipulation in your life. Remember, the goal isn't to suppress your emotions but to understand and guide them with wisdom. As Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Don't let the manipulative tactics of others or the illusions of envy rob you of your peace and purpose. The next time someone tries to spark jealousy within you, let that moment become a test of your inner strength. Use it as an opportunity to reflect, grow, and rise above. Number 3. How to recognize manipulators' use of jealousy. Manipulation often works in shadows, operating so subtly that you may not even notice when you're being controlled, and jealousy is one of the most effective tools in the manipulator's arsenal. It begins with small, seemingly harmless actions, a comment, a comparison, or a deliberate omission that plants a seed of doubt or insecurity. A skilled manipulator knows how to weaponize jealousy by making you question your worth, your achievements, or even your relationships. They might say things like, "Did you see how successful Sarah has been lately?" Or, "Wow, I didn't think you'd still be stuck in that position after all this time." These remarks are designed to create a sense of inadequacy or competition within you, making you feel as though you're falling behind or missing out. But how do you recognize when this is happening? The first step is to become more aware of your emotions. Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote reminds us that external provocations only hold sway if we allow them to. Pay attention to moments when feelings of envy or insecurity arise. Are they naturally occurring, or is someone intentionally steering you toward them? Manipulators excel at creating scenarios where you feel the need to compare yourself to others, often by highlighting their own accomplishments or subtly devaluing yours. This can happen in personal relationships, at work, or even on social media, where curated snapshots of perfect lives fuel feelings of inadequacy. Imagine a colleague who constantly brings up their latest achievements during meetings while casting subtle doubt on your contributions. They might say something like, "I was surprised you didn't take the lead on that project. Seems like it would have been perfect for you." This tactic isn't just about boasting, it's designed to make you feel overlooked or underappreciated, igniting a competitive instinct that can push you into making impulsive decisions. The Stoics offer a powerful way to counteract this. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you notice someone trying to provoke jealousy in you, pause and reflect on your reaction. Are you being drawn into their narrative, or are you staying grounded in your own values? Understanding this dynamic is key to breaking the manipulator's grip. Manipulation through jealousy often works because it exploits our natural human desire for recognition and belonging. But the Stoics teach us to seek these things from within, not from others. In modern life, manipulation is everywhere, especially in the digital age. Social media platforms are breeding grounds for jealousy, as people carefully curate their posts to highlight the best moments of their lives. Have you ever found yourself scrolling through Instagram and feeling like everyone else is ahead of you in life, traveling to exotic places, getting promotions, or buying dream homes? Manipulators, whether they are individuals or systems, thrive on this dynamic. But ask yourself, how much of this is real, and how much is an illusion designed to provoke envy? Seneca reminds us, we are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality. This is especially true when it comes to jealousy. What we perceive as shortcomings in ourselves are often just illusions magnified by comparison. Let's bring this concept into a relatable story. A friend of mine, Laura, once worked with a manager who constantly made her feel like she wasn't doing enough. Whenever Laura completed a major project, her manager would subtly downplay her success, saying things like, "It's good, but nothing compared to what John accomplished last quarter." Over time, Laura started doubting her abilities, comparing herself to John and feeling like she had to work twice as hard just to keep up. It wasn't until she stepped back and reflected on what truly mattered to her that she realized the manipulation at play. She asked herself, am I working to meet my own standards, or am I letting someone else dictate my sense of worth? This clarity allowed her to refocus on her strengths and goals, freeing her from the manipulative tactics of her manager. So, how can you apply this in your life? When someone tries to use jealousy to manipulate you, don't immediately react. Instead, pause and analyze the situation. Ask yourself, why is this person pointing out these comparisons? What do they stand to gain from making me feel this way? More importantly, is the thing they're making me jealous of even aligned with my values and goals? These questions can help you see through the manipulator's tactics and regain control of your emotions. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Manipulation often works in shadows, operating so subtly that you may not even notice when you're being controlled. And jealousy is one of the most effective tools in the manipulator's arsenal. It begins with small, seemingly harmless actions. A comment, a comparison, or a deliberate omission that plants a seed of doubt or insecurity. A skilled manipulator knows how to weaponize jealousy by making you question your worth, your achievements, or even your relationships. They might say things like, "Did you see how successful Sarah has been lately?" Or, "Wow, I didn't think you'd still be stuck in that position after all this time." These remarks are designed to create a sense of inadequacy or competition within you, making you feel as though you're falling behind or missing out. But how do you recognize when this is happening? The first step is to become more aware of your emotions. Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote reminds us that external provocations only hold sway if we allow them to. Pay attention to moments when feelings of envy or insecurity arise. Are they naturally occurring, or is someone intentionally steering you toward them? Manipulators excel at creating scenarios where you feel the need to compare yourself to others, often by highlighting their own accomplishments or subtly devaluing yours. This can happen in personal relationships, at work, or even on social media, where curated snapshots of perfect lives fuel feelings of inadequacy. Imagine a colleague who constantly brings up their latest achievements during meetings while casting subtle doubt on your contributions. They might say something like, "I was surprised you didn't take the lead on that project. Seems like it would have been perfect for you." This tactic isn't just about boasting, It's designed to make you feel overlooked or underappreciated, igniting a competitive instinct that can push you into making impulsive decisions. The Stoics offer a powerful way to counteract this. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you notice someone trying to provoke jealousy in you, pause and reflect on your reaction. Are you being drawn into their narrative, or are you staying grounded in your own values? Understanding this dynamic is key to breaking the manipulator's grip. Manipulation through jealousy often works because it exploits our natural human desire for recognition and belonging. But the Stoics teach us to seek these things from within, not from others. In modern life, manipulation is everywhere, especially in the digital age. Social media platforms are breeding grounds for jealousy, as people carefully curate their posts to highlight the best moments of their lives. Have you ever found yourself scrolling through Instagram and feeling like everyone else is ahead of you in life, traveling to exotic places, getting promotions, or buying dream homes? Manipulators, whether they are individuals or systems, thrive on this dynamic. But ask yourself, how much of this is real, and how much is an illusion designed to provoke envy? Seneca reminds us, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." This is especially true when it comes to jealousy. What we perceive as shortcomings in ourselves are often just illusions magnified by comparison. Let's bring this concept into a relatable story. A friend of mine, Laura, once worked with a manager who constantly made her feel like she wasn't doing enough. Whenever Laura completed a major project, her manager would subtly downplay her success, saying things like, "It's good, but nothing compared to what John accomplished last quarter." Over time, Laura started doubting her abilities, comparing herself to John and feeling like she had to work twice as hard just to keep up. It wasn't until she stepped back and reflected on what truly mattered to her that she realized the manipulation at play. She asked herself, "Am I working to meet my own standards, or am I letting someone else dictate my sense of worth?" This clarity allowed her to refocus on her strengths and goals, freeing her from the manipulative tactics of her manager. So, how can you apply this in your life? When someone tries to use jealousy to manipulate you, don't immediately react. Instead, pause and analyze the situation. Ask yourself, why is this person pointing out these comparisons? What do they stand to gain from making me feel this way? More importantly, is the thing they're making me jealous of even aligned with my values and goals? These questions can help you see through the manipulator's tactics and regain control of your emotions. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By maintaining clarity and focusing on your own path, you can neutralize jealousy as a weapon and live with greater confidence and peace. The lesson here is straightforward. Manipulation only works if you let it. Recognizing how jealousy is used against you is the first step in breaking free from its hold. Cultivate self-awareness, question the value of external comparisons, and prioritize your own growth over external validation. When you do, you not only protect yourself from manipulation, but also create a life driven by your own values and aspirations, not by the illusions or agendas of others. So, the next time someone tries to manipulate you through jealousy, remember that their tactics reveal more about them than they do about you, and your power lies in choosing not to engage. What will you do the next time you face such a situation? Will you let jealousy control you? Or will you take charge of your emotions and reclaim your inner peace? The choice, as always, is yours. Number 4. Turning the tables on manipulation with Stoic Resilience. Manipulation thrives on the emotional reactivity of its target, and jealousy is often the manipulator's weapon of choice. They count on your momentary weakness, your desire for validation, or your fear of being left behind to cloud your judgment. But what if you could transform these attacks into opportunities for growth and empowerment? This is where Stoic resilience comes into play. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Manipulation, instead of breaking you, can become the very tool that sharpens your ability to remain steady and unshaken. Picture this. Someone tries to make you feel inadequate by flaunting their success or subtly suggesting that you aren't good enough. The average response might be to feel envious, insecure, or even defensive. But the Stoic response is vastly different. Rather than reacting impulsively, you pause, observe the manipulator's intent, and decide how to respond based on your values, not your emotions. This deliberate control over your reactions is the essence of Stoic resilience. It turns the manipulator's tactics into a test of your strength, a chance to rise above their games. In modern life, manipulation isn't always obvious. It could be a coworker who constantly compares your achievements to others, a friend who highlights your weaknesses under the guise of helpful advice, or even the curated perfection of social media that triggers feelings of inadequacy. But, as Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When faced with these subtle provocations, the Stoic approach is to treat them as opportunities for reflection rather than threats to your self-worth. Why does this comment bother me? Why do I feel the need to compare myself? By asking these questions, you reclaim control over your mind and emotions. The manipulator's efforts lose their power when you refuse to engage on their terms. Instead, you turn inward, focusing on what truly matters: your principles, your growth, and your inner peace. Let me share a story that illustrates this transformation. A client of mine, James, was constantly undermined by his boss, who would praise other employees in meetings while ignoring James's contributions. Initially, James felt frustrated and inadequate, questioning whether he was good enough for the role. But after learning about Stoicism, he began to see these moments as opportunities to strengthen his character. Rather than seeking validation from his boss, James focused on the quality of his work and his personal standards of excellence. He also practiced gratitude for what he had achieved and reminded himself that external approval was beyond his control. Over time, James's confidence grew, and his boss's attempts to manipulate him stopped having an effect. James had turned the tables, not by confronting his boss directly, but by mastering his own emotions and detaching his self-worth from external validation. So, how can you apply this in your own life? Start by recognizing when someone is trying to manipulate you. Manipulators often prey on your insecurities, but these are also the areas where you can grow the most. As Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." When you feel jealousy, doubt, or frustration creeping in, don't suppress these emotions. Instead, use them as signals to understand yourself better. Are you valuing the wrong things? Are you allowing someone else's opinion to dictate your self-worth? By reframing manipulation as a challenge to overcome, you not only protect yourself from its influence, but also build the kind of inner resilience that no one can take away from you. The lesson here is simple yet profound. Manipulation only succeeds when you allow your emotions to be hijacked. By practicing Stoic resilience, you can transform these moments of vulnerability into opportunities for growth. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. The next time someone tries to manipulate you through jealousy or doubt, see it for what it is: a chance to grow stronger, to deepen your self-awareness, and to live more authentically. What will you do when faced with such a challenge? Will you let manipulation control you, or will you use it as a stepping stone toward greater strength and freedom? The choice, as always, is yours to make. Thank you for being part of today's video. Before we move forward, I want to take a moment to appreciate your presence here. Whether you're new to our community or a longtime supporter, your involvement means everything. Feel free to share, your thoughts, or simply comment. I am a newbie, if this is your first time, or I am Stoic, if you've been with us for a while. Your interaction not only supports us, but also strengthens this community. All right, let's dive back in and continue this journey together, shall we? Number 5. The Stoic power of indifference against jealousy-based manipulation. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. This profound insight from Epictetus lays the foundation for understanding the immense power of Stoic indifference when dealing with manipulation fueled by jealousy. Manipulators rely on your emotional investment in external things, possessions, status, relationships, because these attachments make you vulnerable. The more you desire what someone else flaunts or fear losing what you already have, the easier it becomes for others to control you. But what if you could detach yourself from these external provocations and free your mind from their grasp? This is the essence of Stoic indifference, which isn't about apathy or lack of ambition, but about learning to focus only on what truly matters: your own thoughts, actions, and values. Manipulators often use jealousy to plant doubt and provoke envy. They might show off their accomplishments, subtly point out your perceived shortcomings, or compare you unfavorably to others. For example, you might hear a coworker say, "It's surprising you haven't been promoted yet. John has only been here for a year, and he's already moving up." These words are calculated to stir dissatisfaction and make you feel lesser, but the Stoics offer a shield against such tactics. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Instead of reacting emotionally, pause and ask yourself, does this comparison affect my true worth? Is my value as a person diminished because someone else has something I do not? When you embrace the Stoic mindset, you see such provocations as distractions, not reflections of your character or potential. Let's consider how this applies to modern life, especially in the era of social media, where manipulation through jealousy has reached unprecedented levels. Every day, we're bombarded with images of luxury vacations, perfect relationships, and professional achievements. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparing your life to these curated highlights and feeling inadequate. But here's the truth. These portrayals are often exaggerated or even entirely fabricated, designed to provoke envy and admiration. The Stoic response is not to engage. Seneca's words are particularly relevant here. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor. By detaching from the need to measure yourself against others, you reclaim your power and free yourself from the manipulative influence of jealousy. A powerful example of this principle comes from a client of mine, David, who once felt trapped in a cycle of comparison at his job. His colleague Lisa seemed to have it all: a higher salary, greater recognition, and the admiration of their peers. Lisa often emphasized her accomplishments during meetings, leaving David feeling envious and inadequate. However, after learning about Stoicism, David began to practice indifference. Instead of focusing on Lisa's success, he turned his attention inward, asking himself, "What truly matters to me? Am I working toward my own goals, or am I chasing someone else's?" This shift in perspective not only freed him from jealousy, but also improved his performance and satisfaction at work. He no longer felt the need to compete with Lisa, because his sense of worth came from within, not from external validation. Now think about your own life. Have you ever felt manipulated by someone who tried to make you jealous? Did it push you to act in ways that didn't align with your values or goals? The next time this happens, remember the Stoic principle of indifference. Ask yourself, why does this person's opinion or achievement matter so much to me? Does it change who I am or what I'm capable of? When you start to view external provocations as neutral events, neither inherently good nor bad. You take away the manipulator's power. As Epictetus teaches, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. The less you need from others, the less control they have over you. The lesson here is simple but profound. Indifference is not about ignoring life's challenges or pleasures, but about refusing to let them dictate your peace of mind. Manipulation, based on jealousy, only works when you value external things more than your inner self. By practicing stoic indifference, you can remain calm and composed, no matter what others try to provoke in you. So, the next time someone attempts to manipulate you through jealousy, let it be a moment of reflection and growth. Turn inward. Focus on what you can control and remind yourself of the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Number 6. Why manipulators target emotional vulnerabilities. Manipulators are masters of emotional intelligence, but they use this skill for control rather than connection, preying on the emotional vulnerabilities of others. They know that our emotions, especially those tied to self-worth, fear, and jealousy, are powerful levers to influence our thoughts and actions. Why? Because when emotions take over, logic often takes a back seat, leaving us reactive and easily swayed. Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Manipulators thrive on the fact that most people don't fully exercise this power, instead allowing their insecurities and fears to dictate their behavior. Think about a time when someone subtly made you doubt yourself. Maybe a colleague hinted that your hard work wasn't being noticed, or a friend casually mentioned how someone else was excelling in a way you aren't. These aren't coincidences. They're deliberate attempts to shake your confidence and plant a seed of self-doubt. Emotional vulnerabilities like the need for approval, fear of rejection, or the desire to be seen as successful are prime targets because they are universal. Everyone has moments of self-doubt, but manipulators exploit these cracks to gain influence. Let's break it down. If someone knows you're insecure about your career progress, they might casually highlight another person's promotion, knowing it will trigger feelings of inadequacy. You might feel compelled to work harder or seek validation, not realizing that you're reacting not to your own goals but to their provocation. As Epictetus said, "It is not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters." This timeless wisdom reminds us that the manipulator's power doesn't come from their actions but from our responses. By understanding why and how they target our emotions, we can reclaim control and neutralize their influence. In today's world, manipulation is everywhere, at work, in personal relationships, and even on social media. Have you ever scrolled through Instagram and felt an inexplicable sense of inadequacy? That's because platforms are designed to exploit the emotional vulnerability of comparison. Manipulators in your life operate similarly, using jealousy and insecurity to control your narrative. For example, a friend might repeatedly mention their new achievements or flaunt their lifestyle, not to inspire but to make you feel like you're falling behind. This taps into the fear of being left out or not measuring up, which can lead to impulsive decisions or overcompensation. But here's where Stoicism comes in as a shield. Seneca reminds us, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." The manipulator's tactic works because we let our imagination run wild, envisioning worst-case scenarios where we're somehow less than others. By grounding ourselves in reality and focusing on our own journey, we can resist these psychological games. Let me share a modern story to illustrate this. A man named Tom worked in a competitive office environment where his coworker, Rachel, had a habit of subtly undermining him. She would often comment during team meetings, saying things like, It's great that Tom got that project, but I heard Mark delivered something even more impressive last quarter. These comments left Tom questioning his value, making him feel like he constantly had to prove himself. After discovering Stoicism, Tom decided to approach the situation differently. Instead of reacting emotionally or trying to outshine Rachel, he paused and reflected on his own goals. He asked himself, "Am I here to compare myself to others, or am I here to do meaningful work?" By shifting his focus inward, Tom not only neutralized Rachel's manipulation, but also found peace and confidence in his work. His emotional vulnerability had been targeted, but by understanding and addressing it, he turned it into a strength. Now think about your own life. Have you ever felt like someone was pushing your emotional buttons, leaving you feeling insecure or out of control? How did you respond? And was it in line with what truly matters to you? The next time someone targets your emotional vulnerabilities, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, why is this bothering me? Is this feeling rooted in reality, or am I giving someone else too much power over my emotions? By taking a step back and examining your reaction, you can break free from the manipulator's influence. As Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." The less you depend on external validation, the less power others have to manipulate you. The key lesson here is this: manipulators target emotional vulnerabilities because they know that emotions, when unchecked, can cloud judgment and make us easy to control. But understanding this dynamic allows you to build a defense. Recognize when your insecurities are being exploited, and take a moment to anchor yourself in logic and self-awareness. Remember, your worth is not defined by someone else's opinion, nor is it diminished by their tactics. In the end, the power to remain unshaken lies entirely within you. What will you choose to do the next time someone tries to manipulate you? Will you let their words control your emotions? Or will you take a step back, reflect, and rise above? The choice, as always, is yours to make, and the strength to make it lies within you. Number 7. The Stoic Strategy to Disarm Manipulation. "He who angers you conquers you," said Epictetus, capturing the essence of how manipulation works. Manipulators seek to provoke your emotions, whether anger, jealousy, or insecurity, because when your emotions take over, they gain control. But what if you could stop them in their tracks, disarm their tactics, and maintain your inner peace? This is where the Stoic strategy to counter manipulation becomes a powerful tool. It starts with recognizing the manipulative behavior for what it is, a test of your ability to stay grounded and respond with reason rather than reacting impulsively. Manipulators thrive on creating chaos and planting doubt, making you question your abilities, your decisions, or even your self-worth. Or they might use subtle tactics like comparisons, backhanded compliments, or feigned concern, knowing that the more reactive you are, the easier it becomes to steer your actions. However, the wisdom of Stoicism teaches us to resist this emotional hijacking by mastering the art of detachment and focusing on what lies within our control. The Stoic strategy begins with awareness and observation. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you cannot control." This means that when you sense manipulation, the first step is to pause and detach. Ask yourself, why is this person saying or doing this? What do they hope to gain? When you take a moment to analyze the manipulator's intent, you create distance between their actions and your response. For example, let's say a coworker subtly undermines you by pointing out a mistake you made in front of others. The natural reaction might be embarrassment or defensiveness, but the Stoic response is to remain calm and assess the situation objectively. Does this criticism actually reflect on your abilities, or is it an attempt to make you doubt yourself? By staying composed, you not only protect your peace of mind but also disarm the manipulator's efforts to control the narrative. In modern life, manipulation often hides in plain sight. especially in environments like workplaces, relationships, or even social media interactions. A friend might consistently highlight your flaws under the guise of constructive criticism, or a boss might use fear of failure to push you into overworking. These scenarios test your emotional resilience, but Stoicism provides a clear path forward. As Seneca said, "He suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary." This insight reminds us that much of the stress and insecurity manipulators provoke is self-inflicted because we let their words and actions take root in our minds. The Stoic strategy here is to refocus on your values and goals, ensuring that your actions align with your principles rather than someone else's agenda. This approach not only protects you from manipulation, but also reinforces your confidence and self-direction. To illustrate, consider the story of Mark, a successful entrepreneur who constantly faced manipulative behavior from a business partner. The partner would often highlight competitors' successes, implying that Mark's strategies weren't good enough, and occasionally spread doubts among their team to undermine Mark's leadership. Initially, Mark found himself reacting emotionally, doubting his decisions and trying to prove himself. However, after studying Stoicism, Mark adopted a new approach. Instead of reacting to his partner's provocations, he started questioning the intent behind the remarks. He calmly addressed valid concerns and ignored comments meant to destabilize him. Over time, Mark's composure made the manipulative tactics ineffective, and he regained control over his decisions and leadership. His experience is a testament to the power of Stoic detachment and rationality in disarming manipulation. Now let's apply this to your life. Have you ever felt like someone was trying to control you through subtle jabs, comparisons, or creating doubt? How did you react, and did it align with your true self? The Stoic strategy teaches us to pause, observe, and choose our response deliberately. Instead of letting manipulative tactics trigger an emotional reaction, focus on what you can control: your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Remember Epictetus's wisdom. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By choosing reason over reactivity, you deny the manipulator the control they seek and reaffirm your own strength and clarity. The lesson here is simple, yet profound. Manipulation loses its power when you refuse to engage emotionally. By practicing self-awareness, detachment, and rationality, you can disarm manipulation and protect your inner peace. The next time someone tries to provoke you, pause and remind yourself that their words or actions only have power if you let them. Reflect on your values, focus on what truly matters, and let the manipulator's efforts fade into irrelevance. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Choose to rise above, and you'll find that no manipulator can control a mind that is firmly anchored in reason and virtue." If you've made it this far, you're a true seeker of wisdom and inner strength. Drop a comment saying, "I am in control," to show your commitment to mastering your emotions and rising above manipulation. Stick around. This journey of transformation is just getting started. Number 8. Jealousy as a weapon and how to neutralize it. "Envy is the ulcer of the soul," said Socrates, and manipulators know how to use this ulcer to their advantage. Jealousy is one of the most effective weapons in a manipulator's arsenal because it taps into one of our deepest vulnerabilities, the fear that we're not enough. It's a universal emotion that can arise in relationships, workplaces, and even in the digital world, where carefully curated lives on social media make it seem like everyone else is ahead. Manipulators exploit this by crafting situations or comments that magnify your insecurities and make you feel like you're falling behind. They might flaunt their achievements, highlight your perceived shortcomings, or create competition where none should exist, knowing that jealousy often clouds judgment and pushes people into reactive, self-damaging behaviors. But the truth is, Jealousy is only as powerful as the importance you assign to it, and this is where Stoicism offers a way out. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. This insight reveals that the root of jealousy isn't in the achievements or possessions of others but in how we interpret and value those things. Think about how jealousy operates in your own life. Perhaps at work, a colleague receives recognition for a project, and instead of celebrating their success, you feel a pang of envy, questioning why you weren't acknowledged. Manipulators seize on moments like this to fuel your insecurity, making comments like, "I thought you would have gotten that promotion. What happened?" Such remarks might seem harmless but are designed to deepen the wound and provoke a reaction. The Stoic approach to neutralizing this tactic is to shift your focus inward and reevaluate your values. Ask yourself, why does this achievement matter to me? Is my worth tied to external validation, or is it rooted in my character and efforts? Epictetus advises, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. When you reduce your dependency on external recognition or material comparisons, the manipulator's weapon of jealousy loses its sting. Their efforts to destabilize you fall flat when you detach from the need to measure yourself by someone else's yardstick. A modern example of this can be found in the relentless comparisons fostered by social media. Every swipe through your feed can feel like a reminder of what you lack. Friends posting their luxury vacations, colleagues celebrating promotions, or even strangers flaunting their idealized lives. Manipulators in your personal or professional life often mimic this effect, turning everyday interactions into a game of comparison. Let's take the story of Sarah, a marketing professional who struggled with a boss who constantly compared her to her coworker, Lisa. During team meetings, her boss would say things like, "Lisa's ideas are always so creative. Have you considered thinking outside the box like her?" These remarks made Sarah question her own abilities, leaving her demotivated and envious. But Sarah began practicing Stoicism, choosing to focus on her unique strengths rather than competing with Lisa. She reframed her perspective, asking herself, am I working to improve myself or am I chasing approval from someone who thrives on making me feel inadequate? By anchoring her worth in her own growth, Sarah was able to neutralize the jealousy her boss tried to stir, and instead channel her energy into her personal goals. So how can you apply this in your own life? The next time you feel the pang of jealousy, or sense someone trying to provoke it, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what does this emotion reveal about my priorities? Are the things I envy truly important to me, or have I been conditioned to value them because of societal pressures or manipulative tactics? Remember, the Stoics teach us to separate what is within our control from what is not. You cannot control someone else's success, nor can you change their attempts to manipulate you, but you can control your response. Seneca wisely said, "Id is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." This means that contentment comes not from achieving more or comparing less, but from aligning your desires with your true values and letting go of external distractions. The why. Key lesson here is that jealousy only becomes a weapon if you allow it to pierce your sense of self. Manipulators rely on your emotional reactions, but you can disarm them by practicing self-awareness and redirecting your focus inward. Instead of envying what others have, cultivate gratitude for what you possess and clarity about what truly matters to you. When you understand that someone else's success doesn't diminish your own, you free yourself from the manipulator's grasp. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So the next time you're faced with jealousy, whether it's triggered by a manipulative remark, a coworker's achievement, or a social media post, Choose to rise above. Focus on your growth, your values, and your unique path. The only person who can define your worth is you, and the power to neutralize jealousy lies entirely in your hands. What will you choose? To let jealousy control you, or to use it as a tool for reflection and growth? The decision is yours, and the strength to make it has always been within you. Number 9. Self-awareness as a defense against manipulation. Know yourself and you will win all battles, said Sun Tzu, and this wisdom holds true when it comes to defending yourself against manipulation. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of resilience because manipulators thrive on exploiting the blind spots in your understanding of yourself. When you lack self-awareness, you're more likely to react impulsively, allowing others to pull your strings without you even realizing it. Manipulators are experts at identifying your insecurities, triggers, and emotional vulnerabilities, using them to steer your behavior toward their own goals. But what if you could turn the tables? By developing self-awareness, you gain clarity about your values, emotions, and priorities, making it far harder for anyone to manipulate you. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. This realization is the first step in building an unshakable defense against manipulation. Self-awareness begins with understanding your emotions. Why do you react the way you do in certain situations? Is your anger, jealousy, or fear rooted in external events, or is it a reflection of unresolved feelings within you? For example, think about a time when someone made a subtle comment that left you feeling insecure or defensive. Maybe they said something like, "I'm surprised you didn't take that opportunity. It seemed perfect for you." Such a remark might make you question your choices or abilities, but the truth is, it's not the comment itself that stings. It's how it connects to your own doubts. By being aware of these emotional triggers, you can step back and examine them rather than reacting impulsively. Epictetus said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This mindset helps you recognize manipulation as an external force that only gains power if you allow it to control your emotions. In modern life, self-awareness is more crucial than ever. With the rise of social media, we're constantly bombarded with curated images and messages designed to provoke envy, fear, or a sense of inadequacy. Advertisers use these tactics to make you feel like you're missing out, while manipulators in your personal or professional life do the same to gain leverage over you. For instance, a coworker might highlight your mistakes during a meeting or compare your performance to someone else's, hoping to provoke self-doubt. Without self-awareness, it's easy to fall into their trap, reacting defensively or overcompensating to prove your worth. But with self-awareness, you can pause and ask yourself, why does this bother me? Does this person's opinion truly reflect my value, or am I allowing their words to define me? This reflection helps you see through the manipulation and respond in a way that aligns with your principles. Let's consider a real-world example. A man named John worked in a high-pressure sales environment, where his manager often used manipulation to push the team harder. The manager would publicly praise certain employees while subtly criticizing others, creating an atmosphere of competition and insecurity. John found himself constantly comparing his performance to his peers and feeling like he was never good enough. However, after learning about Stoicism, he began to cultivate self-awareness. He started journaling his thoughts and reflecting on his emotions at the end of each day, asking himself questions like, why did I feel frustrated during that meeting? Was it because of the manager's comments or because I'm attaching my worth to his approval? This practice allowed John to separate his self-worth from external validation and focus on his own goals and progress. Over time, the manipulative tactics of his manager lost their grip and John felt more confident and in control of his reactions. So how can you apply this in your own life? Start by taking a step back whenever you feel triggered or manipulated. Ask yourself, what is the root of this emotion? Is it based on reality, or is it tied to my own fears and insecurities? Remember, manipulators rely on your lack of self-awareness to steer your behavior, but when you understand your triggers and motivations, their influence diminishes. Seneca reminds us, "As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters." This wisdom emphasizes the importance of focusing on the quality of your inner life, rather than being swayed by external provocations. By cultivating self-awareness, you shift the focus from what others think of you to what you think of yourself. The key takeaway here is that self-awareness is not just a defense against manipulation, it's a pathway to personal freedom. When you understand yourself deeply, you become immune to the emotional traps set by others. Instead of reacting impulsively, you respond with intention, ensuring that your actions align with your values and goals. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." The next time someone tries to manipulate you, let it be a reminder to look inward. Strengthen your self-awareness, and you'll find that no one can control you unless you give them the power to do so. What will you choose the next time you face manipulation? Will you let it dictate your actions, or will you pause, reflect, and take charge of your response? The choice, as always, is yours, and the ability to make it lies within you. Number 10. Rising above manipulation through inner freedom. "No man is free who is not master of himself," said Epictetus, and these words hold the key to rising above manipulation. Manipulators thrive on controlling your emotions and reactions, often by exploiting your fears, desires, or insecurities. They know that as long as you are tethered to external validation, material possessions, or the opinions of others, you can be swayed to act against your own best interests. But true freedom lies not in escaping external challenges, but in mastering your inner world. When you cultivate inner freedom, manipulation loses its grip because your peace, confidence, and decisions are no longer dictated by outside forces. Marcus Aurelius encapsulated this idea when he said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This strength comes from understanding that while you cannot control what others do, you have complete control over how you respond. And in that control lies your liberation. Inner freedom begins with recognizing your own values and aligning your actions with them. When you know what truly matters to you, whether it's integrity, growth, or meaningful relationships, it becomes harder for others to pull you away from your path. Manipulators often rely on creating distractions or sowing doubt to destabilize you, making you chase things that don't align with your principles. For instance, think about a situation where someone tried to make you feel inadequate by flaunting their wealth or achievements. They might say something like, "It's surprising, you haven't upgraded your car yet. Everyone's driving the latest model these days." Such remarks are designed to trigger envy or insecurity, pushing you to act impulsively. But when you practice inner freedom, you can pause and ask yourself, does this reflect my true priorities? Or is this an attempt to control my emotions? Epictetus advises, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This perspective allows you to detach from external provocations and stay grounded in your own sense of purpose. Modern life is filled with opportunities for manipulation, especially in the age of social media and constant comparison. Have you ever felt that pang of inadequacy while scrolling through your feed, seeing someone else's picture-perfect vacation, promotion, or new purchase? These curated images and captions are often designed to provoke envy and create a sense of lack, even if unintentionally. Manipulators in your personal or professional life tap into the same dynamic, highlighting what you don't have or amplifying your fears to control your choices. But as Seneca wisely said, He who is brave is free. Inner freedom is about cultivating the courage to live by your own standards, rather than the expectations of others. When you let go of the need to measure up to external benchmarks, you strip manipulators of their power and reclaim control over your decisions. Consider the story of Alex, a sales executive who felt trapped by his boss's manipulative tactics. His boss constantly compared him to other team members, saying things like, "If you worked as hard as Mike, you'd be closing bigger deals by now." These comments fueled Alex's insecurity and made him overwork himself to prove his worth, sacrificing his health and personal life in the process. After discovering Stoicism, Alex began to approach these situations differently. Instead of reacting to his boss's provocations, he focused on what he could control: his effort, his attitude, and his adherence to his values. He reminded himself that his self-worth wasn't tied to his boss's opinions or the performance of his colleagues, but to his own principles of doing meaningful and honest work. Over time, Alex's newfound inner freedom not only made him immune to his boss's manipulations, but also improved his confidence and well-being. So how can you rise above manipulation and cultivate inner freedom in your own life? Start by identifying what truly matters to you. What are your core values, and how can you live in alignment with them regardless of external pressures? When someone tries to manipulate you, pause and reflect on their intent. Are they attempting to steer you toward their goals at the expense of your own? Remember, manipulation only works if you allow it to disrupt your sense of self. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Focus on thoughts that reinforce your autonomy and inner peace, rather than those that feed your insecurities. The lesson here is profound. Inner freedom is the ultimate defense against manipulation. When your peace of mind and sense of worth come from within, no one can control you. The next time you sense someone trying to provoke or manipulate you, take a step back and remind yourself that their actions have no power over your mind unless you grant it to them. By cultivating inner freedom, you not only protect yourself from manipulation, but also create a life that is truly your own, driven by your values, guided by your principles, and free from the constraints of external validation. What will you choose the next time you're faced with manipulation? Will you let it dictate your emotions and actions, or will you rise above and claim the inner freedom that is your birthright? The choice is yours, and the strength to make it has always been within you. In life, manipulation thrives where self-awareness and inner freedom are lacking. But as we've learned today, by understanding the tactics of manipulation and applying the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, you can rise above jealousy, insecurity, and doubt. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Your peace, your freedom, and your happiness are all within your control." If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stoic in Your Life. Hit the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming videos, where we'll continue exploring powerful ways to master your emotions, reclaim your power, and live a life of purpose. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.